If you've been a longtime subscriber of the Steeda YouTube channel, you've definitely heard us talk about the number 20 road race car. Today we're gonna grab Jamie and go over all the details inside, outside, and underneath. Check it out. Jamie, we've had this car since you said 2014. Tell us a little bit about its beginnings and how we got to be where we are today with it.
We got this car in October of 2014 as a base model standard GT, manual transmission. Because of the development stuff that we were planning on doing with it, we didn't want to buy a performance pack and be replacing more of the factory premium parts. We just wanted a base car where we could get into it fairly economically and do all the parts changing we were going to do.
So it came here to Valdosta originally, right?
It started out in Pompano, and then after about a couple of weeks, it showed up here, and we started with our suspension and chassis development from there.
So with that chassis development, I know one of my favorite videos on the Steeda channel is that wheel hop video. That was this car, wasn't it?
That was this car with a set of Netto drag radials on it, and up and down the road in front of the shop repeatedly until we blew the clutch out of it.
I was just gonna say, we blew the clutch out, didn't we?
The car had less than 900 miles on it when we blew the clutch out and put a new clutch in it and went right back to it.
So what kind of components that we offer today were derived from that product development on this car?
The IRS subframe support bushings, the differential bushings, springs, shocks, sway bars, IRS braces,
wow,
strut tower brace, the G-Track braces all were started on this car, cold air kit, shifter. A lot of the stuff that we offer for the S550 chassis started on this car.
Now I know the number 20 race car, the S197 race car, originally was a body in white, and we've seen that plenty of times on the YouTube channel, but this car obviously started out as a regular road going street car. So how did it get to be road race form as it is today?
It started out with doing some development work for Vortec, and we put a Vortec supercharger on it to see how the kit fit on the cars from the 11 to 14 generation, Gen 1 Cody to the Gen 2. We had been looking for Ford to start the body in white program for the S550, or either getting like a flood damaged car.
Perfect, yeah.
And we couldn't find one at the time, so along about May, June of 2016, we decided, well, this is going to be the car that we build for a road race car.
So what exactly did you do to make it a road race car?
The first thing we did was put the engine back completely stock. Took the Vortec off, put everything back on it, basically production except a regular cold air kit. Made sure that the engine was good because we had spent a lot of time with the supercharger on at track events. Once we knew that the engine was in good shape, no problems, then stripped the interior, took the windows out, and started putting cage in it.
So what were we kind of building this car? Is there any particular class we were building it for?
We were building it for the new rules for the SCCA T1 class, Touring 1. They opened the rules up in that specific category for more of the current modifications that were going on with cars. It allowed for engine swaps on certain models. We saw it as a good opportunity to showcase a bigger variety of parts.
And one of the highlights of this car, obviously we started making that transition in 2016, but 2018, I mean, we won the SARC championship. Tell us a little bit about that.
We won the SARC championship in 2018. It's the Southeast Division championship series for road racing. We had some ups and downs that year with car development, parts break, just the normal stuff you have for road racing. And by the end of the season, we were tied with our next closest competitor going into the championship race. So we knew we had to win. We were able to pull out a fairly impressive win at that race and won the championship. We've used it for endurance racing, regular SCCA club races, done some track day events with it, some NASA events, just all around been, you know, a really good car for the different classes and categories. The last couple of years we were doing more refinement work than, you know, coming out with big hard parts. We were looking more at how to make the car better suited for track use. We were doing a lot of work with sway bars, rear spring height adjusting kit, all came from those races.
Now we've obviously seen this car on the channel a lot, but not so much lately. Jamie, why is the car up here in your possession?
Mostly to do a lot of the repair and maintenance that it needed through the years. Racing takes a toll on a car and you just have to keep up with what's going on. And the Illuminator race motor we had in it was starting to get tired, and we decided it was time to replace it. Instead of just going through and freshen it up, we decided just to rebuild it or build a new motor complete and a Caliber race transmission in it. It's still an MT82, but it's just a heavy duty race application transmission. Different clutch because the input shaft is different. It's one of the old GT500 style input shafts. And other than that, it's just been a lot of just minor maintenance and repair work.
All right, Jamie, we're under the hood. Brand new engine is looking great. Tell us a little bit about what's going on under here.
Built basically like the Ford Illuminator. Same compression, same cams, using the same Ford Race intake manifold and throttle body. We're using our closed lid cold air box because of the airflow that it provides. Using the same headers that we had been running for with the original 5-liter and the 5.2 that we had in it.
Inch and 7/8, right?
Inch and 7/8, ceramic coated.
This looks race oriented. What do we have this hooked up to?
That's the oil breather. Goes from the valve covers. We don't have it plumbed back into the intake stream. We don't want to cost ourselves horsepower for having oil in the intake manifold, and then it drains back to the oil pan.
These look rather special. What are these?
Those are the remote reservoirs for the motion control shocks that are on the car, double adjustable shocks, professional race grade shocks and struts. For this kind of racing, it's what you need.
Moving on to the interior, obviously there is not much here that still says, hey, I'm an S550 Mustang, unless you're looking at the dashboard.
Well, the rules for the class for SCCA T1 said that we had to retain a certain percentage of the stock dash. And as you can tell, we were able to retain it almost entirely. That's pretty much the only thing left of the original interior because it allowed us to remove everything else. Obviously the cage. We did install the rear closeout panels in the back for safety. We do have a fire suppression system in the car. The red pull handle up there by the dash will trigger the fire system. Hopefully it's something we never need.
Right.
We've got 6-point safety harness in the car. Windonet steering wheel has a quick release couple so you can remove the steering wheel. Make it easier to get in and out of the car at times, also for safety. We installed an AIM data acquisition system in the car as well. That way we can get real-time data on what's going on with the car. It couples with the cameras. When we play the videos back, we know speed, what we were doing with the brakes, what the G-loads were under braking, acceleration and turning. It just gives us a lot of valuable data on what the car is doing for a given lap time at a given track. Working on the inside of the car, we put in a wider panoramic view rear mirror so you have a bigger, wider view of what's behind you. It's got a Lexan windshield, quarter windows, and rear glass.
No windows in the doors either.
No windows in the doors. Removing the door windows and the regulators saved a little bit of weight. The biggest thing was being able to get rid of all of the interior, the carpeting, and the sound deadener. For driver comfort in the car, we have a driver cool suit system. The white ice chest in the middle over there that's strapped down has a pump in the bottom and pumps ice water through a shirt that the driver wears.
Oh, that's cool.
Has tubes that connects to it. It'll keep him at a reasonable temperature, given the inside of the car can get, 125, 130 degrees during a race. Also a carbon fiber driver's seat. Lightweight, but it is extremely strong. We also have the car set up for communications. We run radios, button on the steering wheel so the driver can communicate with the crew.
Jamie, for a long period of time, this car had the Steeder Racewing out back with our chin splitter up front. What's with the APR wing and everything getting a little bit more extreme with the canards? Why did we need to make that jump in terms of aero?
With a lack of aero, you get a lack of grip, basically. The faster the car goes, the less downforce you have, unless you really augment it with wings and splitters. We started out originally with the hood. It produces a lot of downforce because it gets the air that's trapped under the hood out. And it also allows the radiator and the oil cooler to run more efficiently because the air is not being trapped.
What did we have to do with the other parts once the spoiler and the additional aero was added?
The biggest part that it affected was the springs, because the more aero load you put on the car, the more it affects the springs. It'll start pushing the car into the ground and you don't have enough spring rate. We had to develop the ride height adjusting kit where we had something that we could quickly and easily change rear springs because they were affected more than the front. That allowed us to be able to make those changes at the track and be able to measure same day data.
Now, in addition to some of the other parts we've already mentioned, what else is done underneath the car?
We have Wildwood 14-inch front brakes, 6-piston calipers. The 14-inch brakes fit the class rule. If we ran the original Performance Pack 15-inch brakes, it was a 100-pound weight penalty.
Wow, interesting.
And that's why we went with the Wildwoods, because they were still the 6-piston calipers, but they were 14-inch. We run Performance Pack rear brakes on the car instead of Wildwood or any of the other.
And I know we tried
we tried different brakes in the back, and the brake balance was better using the factory brakes with race pads than it was with the more aggressive 4-piston Wildwoods or the GT350s. The brake rotors and the brake calipers on this car are a lot lighter than the factory Performance Pack brakes. I think that in itself saved another 40, 45 pounds in just the brakes alone in the front. The rear rotors are our 2-piece rotors. They're 18 pounds or so lighter than the stock Performance Pack rotors. It's all trying to work with what is available, what was available from the factory, to give us the best, most reliable combination and keep it light.